First, we looked at scarecrows. Then, Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Now it's just Night of the Scarecrow. So I guess it's not a dark night anymore, just a regular night. Night of the Scarecrow features, get this, a scarecrow that terrorizes a small town. First, we meet Claire and Dylan at this town celebration. Dylan works for the city and is complaining about the mayor.
Hello, Dad.
Well, it turns out the mayor is Claire's daughter. Whoops. Well, it's okay. They're not really that close. And, just to make her dad mad, she invites Dylan over for dinner. Later that night, these guys get drunk and are messing around in a cornfield. They wreck a tractor into a rock right in front of our scarecrow, and it cracks open. This releases the warlock that was buried there centuries ago, where it inhabits the scarecrow's body. It's dinner time, and we meet the whole family. First, Uncle George, a farmer. He's played by Dirk Blocker, which I think he's best known recently as Hitchcock on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Then there's Uncle Thaddeus, the town preacher, and Uncle Frank, the town's sheriff. He's played by Stephen Root, who was also in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I think most people remember him from Office Space or maybe Dodgeball, but I'll always know him as Bill Dauterive.
Which one of us hasn't had an innocent sex dream about a friend's wife?
After an awkward dinner, Claire decides to pay Uncle George a visit, but he has his own problems. Someone, or something, is in his barn. He goes to check it out and comes face to face with the scarecrow. It pins him up against the wall, then lets his own equipment do the rest. Claire gets there just in time to see our scarecrow friend walk back into the field, and then she finds what's left of her uncle. Now on to Thaddeus. He's setting up arrangements for his brother's funeral, but it seems like he's a bit of a pig. He keeps looking at his daughter's lingerie catalog, and he hears some chick moaning in the sanctuary. Instead of kicking them out, he's thinking he's gonna get some. Well, he does, but it's not what he's hoping for. He gets to the front pew to find it's just a pig. He prays for forgiveness at the cross, but then the scarecrow's hanging from it. Thaddeus runs away, only to smack right into the monster, who asks him where his book is, then sews Thad's lips shut. Now we have probably the weirdest kill I've seen in a while. Steph, Thaddeus' daughter, is making out in a van. Her boyfriend goes to get a beer and gets knocked out by the scarecrow. Then he plants a seed in Steph. Her boyfriend wakes up just in time to see it grow. Vines burst out of her everywhere and attack both Steph and her boyfriend. It looks painful. Eventually, they get outside, and the vine pulls Steph underground. Meanwhile, Dylan and Claire get a motel room and bang one out. Then, suddenly, Uncle Thaddeus comes back. After they cut his mouth open, he tells them of the legend of the town's warlock, which basically boils down to this. Over 100 years ago, the town was in famine. Crops wouldn't grow, and people were starving. That is, until a warlock made a deal with the town leader, Silas. He would cast a spell that would make everything grow, and the town would flourish. All that they would need to do is accept him. With no other options, Silas agrees, and everything goes to plan. That is, until the warlock started having old people orgies all the time. Well, Silas didn't like that, so he gathered up some townspeople, and they crucified the warlock. Once he died, they buried his body and put the bones in a tomb in the middle of a field. If that tomb was to be disturbed, the warlock would be set free, and that's exactly what happened. Now, all the warlock needs is his book to get his body back, and he'll be unstoppable. Some pretty serious stuff, and it turns out that Claire's father has this book. But he isn't giving it up, so the Scarecrow kills him too. Claire comes home to see her father dead, but Frank knows of a secret hiding place in the attic. They head up there and eventually do find the book. Claire takes off with it, and they discover that the only way to stop the warlock is to destroy his bones. So, back to the field they go to get him out of the tomb. They try to blow up the Scarecrow and his bones, but that doesn't work. The Scarecrow gets a hold of Claire and ties her up. It looks like he's going to plant a seed in her now. Uh-oh, that's not good. But then, Dylan destroys the bones, finally ending the warlock's reign. So far, at least, these Scarecrow movies haven't been too bad. Honestly, this was probably the worst one, and it was still pretty good. I really liked all of Claire's uncles. They looked like they really could be brothers. The casting people did a really good job there. I guess the original script had the Scarecrow delivering a bunch of one-liners at the death scenes. I'm glad they took that out. It would have been funny, but it would have really dated the movie. The Warlock story isn't anything special, but it still works. It doesn't build much atmosphere and plays more like a Scarecrow slasher film, but I really did like all those unique deaths. Vines ripping out of you from the inside and being filled with hay, they're all pretty good. Watch Night of the Scarecrow once and you'll be happy with it. I give it 3 sexy moaning pigs out of 4.
The scriptures warn us that beneath the shining skin of the ripe fruit lies pestilence, vermin, and rot.